Okay, so today's topic is expression language, EL in short. So expression language is based on SPEL from JSTL 1.0. SPEL stands for Simplest Possible Expression Language. It lets you access property values of a JavaBean object in a simpler syntax. So as you can see, you can say $ and opening brace, and you can say item and .price. So in this case, item should be an attribute in a scope object, whether it is a session scope object or requested scope object or application context scope object, and then you can access the property of that item object. So the item class should have a getter and setter method for price property, and it's recognized by JSP container in template text, so you can actually use this EL syntax in your JSP page. And it does support custom EL functions as well, so you can say function : all caps, and then you specify name of your attribute in a scope object. So JSTL 1.1 provides 16 standard EL functions. Okay, so this is an example of EL, so arithmetic operations, and these are comparisons. So actually, let's run those applications. Let me just close this one, and I'm going to open. Let me see, I have the JSP page example in this hands-on lab. Expression language and sample JSP. Okay, so JSP examples. And let's run this application. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. So expression language, basic arithmetic. So if you execute, you're going to see, yeah, this is the syntax that you can use. $1 is going to result in 1. It will be just evaluated. Okay. So if you see the code, we are basically seeing, this syntax. Okay, let's see basic comparisons. So you can do, so again, this will result in true, this will result true, and things like that. So alphabetic, you can also do comparison against alphabetic. Okay, implicit object. So let's actually move on with the presentation. Implicit object. Okay, so some of the objects are already created by the servlet container, so you can actually access them. So let's try that. So implicit object, so execute. So here you can actually get the page context object, page scope object, requested scope object, prime object, prime values, and things like that. So here, suppose if you are passing this foo equal bar with a param, then when you actually perform the query, then you're going to actually see the value of the foo is bar. And here, this is the same syntax. Foo.bar is the same thing as this notation. Okay, and you can also get the header information. Host is localhost 8080, and accept header information is like this. Okay, so basically you can actually use this header as implicit object. Okay, so if you say foo equals Boston, then it will just capture those values like a Boston. Okay, all right, pretty straightforward. And the functions, so yeah, you have seen these functions. Yeah, so this is the case. Let's try functions. So if I execute these functions, so this is a parameter that actually gets passed. So this is like JSP plus 2.0, or I can just say Boston like this and submit query, and then this will be sent as a foo equal Boston, and so I'm using reverse function, and again here I'm doing reverse and reverse. So it's, so when I do the one reverse, it's gonna be like this, and when I do reverse twice, then it's gonna actually have a Boston back. And then I can also count vowels of this param of foo, in this case foo. Okay, this is the name of the param, equals foo. If I say, yeah, so this is set as foo. Okay, all right, so relatively straightforward. Okay, so here so this is actually comparing a scriptlet code, Java code inside your JSP page, and the EL expression, just to show EL expression is recommended because it's a lot simpler, right? So this is the same thing as this, so they are equivalent functions. Okay, so here I created JavaBean object called the foo, and it's from the foo bean class, and then I'm actually accessing bar property of the foo objects. So these two lines of code is the same thing as this. So it's a lot simpler and straightforward. Okay, so for map object, again here I'm getting the states map object, and then I'm trying to get the actual value of the state by passing the key. Okay, and then from that state object I can call the capital property of it. Okay, and this code is the same thing as this. So I can actually get the capital object, and then I can get the name property of the capital object. So this is a lot more straightforward and easier to use. All right, so let's take a look at the hands-on app. So we have actually exercised some of this. So we did the arithmetic. We did the arithmetic comparison, implicit object and functions. So I'm going to actually go to exercise 2 for done notation. So in expression language, you can specify the done. You can use this. You can actually use the done notation to chain the properties. So in this case, I have, let's say, hello web NetBeans project, and if I type Sang Shin here, and I'm going to actually have a response page just displaying hello Sang Shin and the list of the people. Okay. So here the customer has address field. Okay, and address also has few fields. So here, yes, address has a city, state, and zip. So I can actually use this notation: customer dot address and dot city, and state and zip. So as you can see, when you run the application, it's actually displaying the addresses. Yeah, so this is the addresses from address object. This is from the customer. Okay, this is from the customer fields, and this is from the address fields of from the customer. Okay, so this is address. So done notation, you can use the done notation to chain the properties. Okay, all right. So hopefully that is straightforward, and that is the end of the presentation. Thank you.